Well, there is a growing dialogue around how the race for the U.S. presidency will play out. And on the Republican side, while Donald Trump is busy making his case to potential voters, we know he's navigating a number of issues. A DA in New York has now dropped a probe of tax-related matters at a Trump golf course. Of course, earlier this week, we saw that indictment involving the former president. He had been arraigned on charges in Miami that he mishandled state secrets and obstructed justice. The former president pleading not guilty on 37 charges and using that indictment to fuel his base at a rally that very evening. Joshua Kastenberg is a professor of law at the University of New Mexico and joins us with his perspective. Professor, thanks for your time. First off, what was your reaction to everything that has played out so far this week?
Well, never before in the legal history or the political history of the United States has a former president been sued this many times or indicted for crimes this many times. The closest a prior president has come to that was Richard Nixon. And Richard Nixon had a number of civil matters facing him. But after President Ford pardoned him, the criminal issues went away. And so my reaction is we are really in a constitutionally defining moment in the history of the United States. And we'll see how this plays out, both legally and politically. But the fundamental power of the United States presidency is at play here.
I guess let's talk about those two threads. So I do want to get to how it all plays out on the campaign trail, but let's start with what's next on the legal front. Like, what should we watch for?
Yeah, so on the federal side, of course, as I think the world generally knows, Mr. Trump is facing 38 charges, including conspiracy charges, charges for mishandling and endangering the national security through the mishandling of critical information, as well as lying to the investigators about having turned all documents over. There's obstruction of justice involved in that. So criminal trials generally under American law take precedence over civil trials. And it's possible for the former president to argue, look, I can't concentrate on, for example, Jean Carroll's latest defamation suit in New York because I have a pending criminal trial. So this might set his civil trials back, including the New York Attorney General's investigation and civil trial into the Trump organization. It doesn't mean it'll happen that way, but that's a possibility. The real horse race, though, is between the Manhattan District Attorney's trials on the concealing of money in regarding to Stormy Daniels versus the U.S. Attorney's case down in Florida regarding these the latest indictments. And so it's difficult to predict which will take precedence, the jurisdiction that charged first or the federal jurisdiction. So that we'll see play out in the next week or so, again, with scheduling issues.
All right. And then speaking of horse races on the political front, and we already referenced that the former president held a rally that same night. Yeah. He was arraigned in Miami. What are you going to be watching for there?
Well, you know, every opportunity for a politician these days, and it's not just Mr. Trump, but anyone on the campaign trail seems to be a fundraising opportunity. But I do think you'll see a number of his opponents say that he's no longer qualified to be president. But constitutionally, that's not true. The Constitution only creates 3 limited qualifications. You have to be 35, you have to be a natural-born citizen, you have to have lived in the United States for the last 14 years. And what I would say on that point is Eugene Debs, a famous labor leader, ran for the presidency in 1920 from prison. Now, he got a few million votes, but that was many millions shy of what Warren G. Harding, who ultimately became president, and Governor Cox from Ohio, the Democratic Party candidate, who came in second place, received in that election. But none of these cases present any legal infirmity for Mr. Trump staying on the campaign trail or becoming the second non-consecutive president in our nation's history.